I still couldn't believe this happened. Welcome to the Caribbean, welcome to the Bahamas. We're currently on an MSC World America cruise from Miami to Dominican Republic to Puerto Rico, sailing around the Bahamas and going back to Miami. Yep, that's 7 days cruising in the brand new MSC World America, recently crowned Best Overall Cruise Ship in 2025. I've been on boats before. Ferries, sailboats, some yachts, a few river cruises, even went for a small ocean cruise. But nothing, I repeat, nothing could have ever prepared me for this. MSC World America, where do I start? I have never been on a cruise ship this big. This place is so huge. You can literally lose your way around. I have. It feels more like a floating city than a cruise. I genuinely never even dreamed of doing this. And what's more, I got to experience this whole cruise with my beautiful dearest sister, Maya, and share this adventure with her. But before we ask ourselves, are we willing to go on a cruise in the Caribbean along with over 6,000 guests, 2,000 crew, on a ship with 22 decks, 19 restaurants, 2 theatres, 18 bars and cafes, 7 swimming pools, thrill rides, a water park, gym and a spa, and even a secret speakeasy bar? I mean, why wouldn't we? Nothing was stopping us from finding out what it's like to be in this magnificent ship. This is a story of our 7 days in the MSC World America. It all starts at the port of Miami. After 3 days of soaking up in the sun-kissed city, we were excited to board the ship. We proceeded to the MSC Terminal AA, which opened last year and is now the biggest cruise terminal in the world. I suppose we'll have a lot of size comparisons in this video, so bear with me. With the cruise terminal this new and modern, the Embarkation was pretty fast and smooth. We've done an online check-in, so everything was a security check, and through the gate it was super speedy and there was barely any queue. And before we knew it, we were on the gangway, climbing up to the ship's entrance, and let's just say, the welcome was quite the energy.
This is one way to check in.
It already made such a difference when a crew like this gives you the brightest of welcomes.
Hi, good morning.
Once we're fully inside, this megaship is nothing short of impressive. The main atrium stopped us in our tracks, just in all the grandness of it, with balconies stacked floor after floor and with a bold screen ceiling that keeps changing every time we walk past it. Speaking of walking, this ship will definitely make us get our steps in the whole week. We found our cabin, which we discovered was in deck 19, which is pretty high up. The crew already delivered our suitcases, which makes for a very stress-free check-in. We had a balcony cabin, and suffice to say, it made for a very comfortable home for us for the next 7 days. One thing I love about cruises is that you only get to unpack only once, while visiting multiple countries in one trip. This time, it's 4 countries: the US, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and the Bahamas. And speaking of suitcases, I'd like to show you what I packed for this cruise, because packing for a cruise is its own thing. You're packing for multiple destinations all at once. For holiday, sea days, port days, dinners, excursions, everything in one bag. Before I went on cruises, I generally didn't know what to pack. Being a content creator, I also need to bring my cameras, tripod, extra gear, all that extra load on my luggage. Thanks to 2 suitcases from Level 8 who I partnered with that truly helped the way I pack. This is the Adventure Suitcase series from Level 8, the Adventure Carry-On 20, and the Adventure Check-In 28. Let's start with the big one, the Adventure Check-In. This goes in hold, and what I love about this one is the way it opens. This is a front side lid design, so instead of opening it up like a sandwich, you can access it all the way from the front, and in this case, from the top. Whether you're putting this on the bed or in the luggage rack, it just makes life easier. It just saves so much space, and you don't need to open the whole suitcase. It also has this deep expansion, which makes packing this feels like Narnia in there. This suitcase can hold a lot. I packed most of my clothes here. Light day clothes, trousers, shirts for evening wear, shoes, sandals, hats, a toiletry bag. You can even get these travel cubes from Level 8, which really help you organize your packing. I put socks, underwear, gym clothes in them, extra microfiber towels just in case. All extra accessories that I don't immediately need but can't travel without goes in the big suitcase. Now, this is the Adventure Carry-On. Same series, same design, same DNA, just smaller. This goes on the plane with you as cabin luggage. I just love the same front opening system. You can just stand it up and access everything from the front. At the airport, in the cabin, in bed, at the ship, it's super easy. I kept some of my camera gear right in here. 2 or 3 outfits for the first day, beachwear, all of my tech, a book to read, documents, some toiletries, all 7 days in these 2 suitcases. I genuinely love the style. The shell is German-made Macrolon polycarbonate. It's a proper hard shell, lightweight but tough. And the 360 spinning wheels are just amazing. They're just so quiet. Both have this wide aluminium telescopic handle that makes it so durable, with TSA-approved locks and overall great aesthetic wherever you go. They are game changers, and if you're someone who takes traveling seriously, whether you're traveling for work, for holidays, or adventure, this adventure series can do it all. Plus, there are other styles that suit any taste. Take a look at the website and use my code INTHEMOOD15 to get 15% discount to any suitcase you'd like from Level 8. You can find the link in the description below. Now, let's continue with our room tour. Our cabin category is Experience Fantastica, and that's why we got this extra space with a big sofa, the balcony, and a really generous bathroom. I mean, I can party in here. Like, there's a lot to move. Fabulous. This ship is fabulous. With the Fantastica category, we also get room service 24/7 as well as breakfast in the cabin if we ever feel like it. As it was time for lunch, we grabbed a bite at La Brasserie, one of the 2 complimentary buffet restaurants on board, serving Mediterranean and international cuisine. And you get to eat beside panoramic windows with views of Miami. That afternoon, we explored the ship and we started on the top deck with the adventure and fun stuff allocated, such as the water park and slides. Also the cliffhanger swing, the first and only overwater swing ride at sea. There's also the jaw drop with a spiraling slide down to the World Promenade that would quench those thrill seekers. At the back end of the ship, there's the adults-only pools and lounge, of course, with views of Miami. Towards the front of the ship, there are sports venues, a really spacious gym with a view of the main pool deck. And down in the pool deck, it looked incredibly inviting, so we went down to check it out. A few people were already enjoying the sunny afternoon. We've already been through the numbers, but there's more pools indoors and jacuzzis and hot tubs than I could ever count. Down we went to the World Promenade, this open-air space located at the back of the ship that stretches for half a kilometer, with shops, cafes, bars and restaurants, canopied with a strikingly impressive ceiling with LED light shows on display. We were in awe of what we've seen so far, and we haven't even seen all of the ship yet. Our ship began sailing at 6 p.m, so that evening we went for an early dinner at La Folia, one of the dining venues here, along with our lovely group, and then caught the illusionist show Momentous at the World Theatre, making this an exciting first day of our cruise.
Well, thank y'all for coming out for Showtime. Remember, the night is still young.
I do love waking up early on this cruise, with the sea just right in the balcony, and the morning light peeking out from the horizon. The ship feels like it's also just waking up. There's barely anyone out and about, making it feel like you have the entire space for yourself. We had breakfast at Il Mercato, another one of the restaurant buffets that's complimentary to our cruise. Nothing beats breakfast with the sea around you while watching sunrise with my sister. Part of the reason why we're here in the MSC World America is that we get to take part in the Academy Cruise run by Dave Natal and Erica and Chris Comiso, expert and leading travel advisors who teach travel advisors like us how to run group travel effectively. And throughout the entirety of this cruise, I also get to be a videographer and get to film and experience this incredible ship. So with every opportunity I could get, I was able to capture the World America through my lens and share this experience with you all. And yes, ain't she a beauty? Our Caribbean cruise is 3 days at sea, and today is one of them. With a ship this big, you'll never run out of options on what to do. Just walking around the decks in the morning is truly one of my favorites when there's barely anyone around. And especially when I'm recording and there's no one there to witness such camera fails, like, for instance, that time when my tripod fell, the camera thankfully survived another day. I loved grabbing a coffee at the Coffee Emporium and getting to just enjoy the World Promenade between breaks and watching the waves in the sea beyond. I love grabbing lunch with Maya, grabbing all sorts of food while my sister admirably keeps our diet healthy. I also loved it when it's late in the afternoon and the sun is still bright and we spend some time sunbathing in the top deck, then later burn some calories in the gym, get those miles in, and then relax in the sauna with nothing else but sea views. The evening affair was a stylish one, and my sister and I dressed up to the nines, especially Maya, looking glamorous as ever. Dinner was wonderful, and we loved how incredible the staff in this restaurant are. We even got to take photos together. Before we headed to the evening's event, we sneaked into the light show, which is on display every evening at the World Promenade. Beautiful lights cascading up to the palm tree ceiling that's quite a sight to behold. Then it was time for the main event at the World Theatre, a bit of 80s throwback, dirty dancing.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well,
But the night wasn't even over yet. World America introduced its crew and staff to the guests,
now for the senior officers of World America.
and then finished off with a little guilty pizza to call it a night. Our next 2 days are all about visiting ports, and in day 3 we had a port stop at Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic.
Content, rain or shine.
By the time the ship pulled on land, the weather turned overcast. Even that didn't stop us from exploring the port. As you know, in the Caribbean, daytime temperature is still quite lovely and warm. We had a few hours to spare and walked around and explored Taino Bay with the group. This place was inaugurated in 2021, and they built a whole resort along this port facing the Atlantic. This is now considered one of the better Caribbean cruise ports. It's beautiful, clean, to top of that, full of free activities. There's a beachfront lounge areas, pools to choose from, there's even a lazy river, which I was really tempted to go into. It's also full of shops, stores and bars where you can grab drinks and relax. Actually, there's so much to choose from, and instead, Maya and I just walked and explored the place, which is landscaped like a tropical garden. I just love how green it is, and music is played in the streets, giving a Caribbean holiday vibe. Later that afternoon, we jumped into one of the jacuzzis. Watched the sunset from our balcony, and then killed some time at the casino. I confess, I haven't been in a casino before. Thankfully, someone helped me to play it, and I won 20 bucks. And then lost it later. Classic casino first-timer story right there. But we were way more excited about the show at the World Panorama that evening, a symphonic tribute to Queen, and honestly, it was one of the best shows in our entire cruise experience. There was an after-dark Panorama nightclub, but we went to do our own disco on pool deck, because that's just how we roll. The next day was all about Puerto Rico. This is Bad Bunny town. I was expecting sassy, sexy, color, and energy, and I was astonished. San Juan gave us just that. This is seriously one of the most colorful and vibrant cities I've ever set foot on. We docked in the morning, and you can actually see the old city from the ship. This assembly of colorful colonial buildings stacked up in the hillside, with the old Spanish fortifications at the edge. I couldn't wait to see those colors, blessing my retinas with some saturation. We got off the port, which was particularly busy that morning, amping up the popularity of San Juan with the Caribbean cruise craft. Nonetheless, we got a group together and explored this colorful city. We also made friends during this cruise.
This is ways.
History lesson real quick. Puerto Rico used to be the crown jewel of the Spanish colonized Americas in the 16th century, then ceded as a US territory in the late 19th century, making San Juan the oldest European established city under the American flag. That's over 500 years of history right there. We walked through Paseo de la Princesa, this pedestrian walkway that leads to the fountain Fuente Raíces. Spanish influence and heritage is quite impactful here that San Juan feels like an old European city, especially with the presence of fortifications. We climbed to Bastión de las Palmas, a fortification that's part of the 3-mile-long walls that extend around the city. We stopped at this little park with a view of San Juan. Color is something that San Juan fully embraces, and you can see on the streets how vibrant and alive the city is, with all shades of colors painted in houses. Even the cobblestones on the streets here are blue, another Spanish influence for you. We went up to La Fortaleza, the first fortification built to defend San Juan Bay. This area led up to the San Juan National Historic Site, where some of the largest installed fortresses in the entire continent can be found. All of this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, with a field so open we couldn't help but just run across it. And somewhere here is a cemetery we've heard about, Santa Maria Magdalena de Paz's Cemetery. We wanted to see it, but getting a closer look from the walls proved a little bit challenging. This grandiose, strikingly cinematic cemetery is located just outside the walls of the fortress, and we've heard that's the final resting place of many of Puerto Rico's prominent natives and residents, where you can also find hundreds of sculptures. Its location isn't a coincidence. It was built here with a belief that by facing the Atlantic Ocean, souls can make a peaceful passage to the afterlife. This may be the cemetery with the greatest view I've ever seen to date. Who doesn't want to be buried here if we ever get the chance? We rambled further around the fort. Even an overcast day like this centuries-old fortress El Morro sits at the edge of this island like a haunted guardian that's never left, and decided to watch over Puerto Rico instead. We had so much time to spare, so on our own we explored and soaked more of San Juan's multicolored and really delightful streets, with each line of buildings and corners that are even more colorful than the one we walked past. We went into the Cathedral of San Juan, one of the oldest buildings in the entire colonially settled Americas, and the high altar is also the oldest crucifix in the entire continent. Outside, we had other plans: hat shopping at El Galpon.
Well, I found an amazing hat shop in San Juan. You gotta come here. It's El Galpon. Look at this. She says this is gonna last a few decades, so this is an investment. There.
Hi there.
Look at this hat. It's fantastic.
I've always wanted to own an authentic Panama hat, and now I finally have. Handwoven in Ecuador, bought here in Puerto Rico. We were thirsty and wanted a cocktail to quench our thirst. And somewhere here in Old San Juan is a restaurant and bar called Barraquina, known as the birthplace of the original pina colada recipe by the then head bartender, Don Ramon Portes Mingo, back in 1963. Our new friend Wei and her husband Stefan told us all about this, and we ended up enjoying a few pina coladas together, which is actually out of this world. This is no exaggeration, by the way, but it's seriously the best pina colada I've tasted to this day.
Cheers, friends.
We headed back to the ship, World America literally glowing right there at the port, and admittedly, we were a little too tipsy after those amazing pina coladas. Thankfully, the next day is a sea day.
We are in the Caribbean right now, sailing towards back to the Bahamas, and thankfully the weather has become a lot better. On sea days like this, God knows you need sun.
And sunshine we truly had. I love cruises that have this balance between port days and sea days. And on the 2 sea days we've had, when I'm not filming for the Academy cruise, we got to truly rest, enjoy the facilities on the ship. These are the days for unwinding, and I got to explore other parts of the ship that I haven't been. Mind you, this was a busy voyage, but with a ship this big, as you can see, there's so many different corners to either unwind or just enjoy the peace without people around. One of the mornings, we tried something different, brunch at a different restaurant at Hexagon, where we were catered for marvelously by the crew. Overall, food and beverage in the ship was really great, with so many options to choose from, with the 19 dining venues, the amount of bars or the cafes where you can grab cocktails or coffee any time of the day. We found that pool use is the best in the morning, just before lunchtime. My sister and I found a sweet spot during the day. We went for lunch early and then headed out to the pool immediately after. And while most people are having lunch, we get to enjoy the pools much, much better. And there's always our own room and balcony for a quiet refuge in the afternoon, just to rest, enjoy the sea air, cozy up with a book, or just stare out to that endless Caribbean blue in every direction. And then sunset arrives, and the ship takes on a whole new ambience. With theatre performances available each night. And on one occasion, we had a white night party out on the pool deck, which is one of the most fun nights we've had on this cruise, with everyone dressed in white, living it up on the deck on a warm, balmy Caribbean evening, dancing to almost all kinds of music genres, as unpredictable as it gets. Both Maya and I enjoyed our margaritas and white Russians and martinis, amazed at how surprisingly delightful sea days can be. And the next day arrived, our penultimate day on this cruise, probably the one that we'd been most looking forward to. Save the best for last? You bet. This is Ocean Cay, MSC's private island in the Bahamas. Not every day you get a chance to get on private islands like this one, so this was pretty special. Our ship pulled in early in the morning, and we got to spend an entire day here until sunset. And truth be told, we were really excited to be just on a tropical island in the middle of nowhere. Well, not exactly nowhere. Ocean Cay Marine Reserve is located precisely between the Bahamas and Miami. MSC formally inaugurated this island in 2021, and ever since turned this into a hot beach destination exclusive only to MSC Cruises. And is exactly what you expect from an island in Bahamas. Stretches of white sand, palm trees everywhere, bright and colourful huts and cabanas, and turquoise blue waters. But Ocean Cay wasn't always like this. Only a few years ago, MSC invested, bought and rehabilitated this island from a former industrial and abandoned sand extraction site and turned it into the paradise that we now see, an incredible feat and achievement from all the people involved in recuperating this island. Watch the full 3-part documentary Building Paradise Island to learn more about the story of how MSC transformed Ocean Cay. The island can only dock one cruise ship at a time, even though you get to share this island resort with 6,000 guests. There's so much beach space in this island. We counted 8 beaches and even a great lagoon. Ocean Cay feels designed to provide plenty of room for everyone without ever feeling crowded. Maya and I love just being here without any itinerary, walking and exploring around without much plan. We simply wanted to be here, be present, enjoy and soak up these beautiful waters, and get a great dose of that beautiful Bahamian sunshine.
2, 3, go!
And you know, when you're having a great time, time itself flies by, and we didn't even realize it was already lunchtime. We headed to the main lunch venue at Suitcases food court, located in the middle of the island. And frankly, it was just the right Caribbean grill food we needed for the day. Make this island a part of your cruise. It makes for such a perfect stop. I mean, they let you spend here an entire day with lunch, with these beautiful beaches, incredible weather. My sister and I just finished lunch, and now all I want to do is just have a nice afternoon nap, because that's just all we needed. That's what you do in Bahamas. We headed to the lagoon, and it's easy to forget this is actually man-made. Somehow, MSC's achievement is to make this place feel so natural. It's also worth being reminded that this is a marine reserve with coral reefs and species of marine life thriving under these waters. And yes, it's nap time, and we found a perfectly secluded spot under a palm tree. I took a dip, shot off, forgot the rest of the world for some time, and then when I woke up, Ocean Cay revealed another side. With the sun at a lower angle and late in the afternoon, the light in this island is even more beautiful, casting a soft golden glow on the sand, the waters turning into a nostalgic blue. I just roamed and walked in the northern parts of Ocean Cay, enjoying this premature golden hour. After days of cities and ports and streets and noise, there's something undeniably good about walking around on this piece of Bahamas with nowhere to be. It dawned on me that being a video creator, sometimes I forget what going on holiday really is. I've turned my passion into work and turned every trip into an opportunity to create content. Switching off is actually really hard, but at this point in time, I just left my camera on while walking and even forgot that it was on the whole time. The beautiful beach scenes in Ocean Cay just washed over me and felt like I was walking in the living, breathing screensaver. This place is really stunning, and we had such a relaxing and memorable time here. By sunset, we were back in the ship, admiring the whole of Ocean Cay from above, the glow of the sunset just waxing lyrical over the island. The beach is turning mellow, the lighthouse looking like an emblem holding its own against an infinite sea. Speaking of the lighthouse, by evening, this icon turns into a beaming, glimmering LED light show, one that they say you can see for miles out from the open sea. And then the evening gave us something quite special. The Filipino crew went out of their way to arrange a special Philippine-themed dinner for our last night. They made us feel so at home, rather than passengers in a cruise ship. Being Filipinos ourselves, we were genuinely moved how the crew turned out last night on board like a farewell gift. And then, if the evening hadn't already given us enough, we got in. The speakeasy bar, the one tucked away somewhere in this ship. The kind of place you only hear whispered about, and when someone quietly slides you a passcode, secretly hidden with just a door, a code, and on the other side, a dimly lit bar that felt like it belonged in another era entirely. We sat there, the ship steadying back to Miami, with the performers putting on a show, with inventive cocktails at our disposal. This last night really felt like a celebration. A week ago, I came on board not really knowing what to expect, half expecting spectacle and half expecting overwhelming scale. MSC World America delivered in spectacular abundance in those fronts. The scale of the MSC World America is generally hard to process until you're living inside it for a week. But what stayed with me wasn't the scale. It was Puerto Rico showing me bright colors and unexpected warmth. Those blue cobblestones, the cemetery at the edge of the Atlantic, the best pina colada in my life shared with my sister and people I just only met. It was Ocean Cay teaching me finally how to switch off, camera still rolling but my mind finally quiet, just in all of the surroundings around me. It was a group of Filipino crew members turning our cruise into something beautifully generous and unexpected and real. We were treated like family. And more than anything, it was Maya, my sister, my travel companion, the person I get to share all of this with. We've been on trips together before, but 7 days at sea, waking up to the ocean every morning, getting lost in Old San Juan together, dancing at the White Night party, doing absolutely nothing together on a stretch of Bahamian sand. That's the kind of time you don't manufacture. To have her as my sister feels like a gift to treasure for life. Is a cruise like this considered meaningful travel? I think it depends entirely on what you bring to it. If you stay in the ship and let the ports blur past you, maybe not. But if you treat every arrival like a real arrival, you get off, you walk, and eat the food, learn the story of each place, and let it wash over you, then absolutely yes. This was my biggest ocean cruise, and I will never forget it. Not anytime soon, possibly not ever. It was also a reminder that not all paradise like this is a given. It's a result of hard-won efforts of people and companies like MSC to transform and save an island for us to enjoy. Now, if MSC World America is calling you, I want you to know something. This is exactly the kind of trip I exist to help you plan. I'm a travel advisor, and the reason I go on experiences like this, like the cruises, the group journeys, the places most people only see in videos, is so that I can come back and tell you and show you what it's actually like, what's worth it, what to expect, how to make it work for you. Because travel like this is actually quite doable more than you think, more wonderful than you expect, and far more memorable than you'll ever be prepared for. If you want to experience the MSC World America, reach out. You'll find me at inthemoodforlife.com or drop me a message at chans@inthemoodforlife.com. I'd love to help you get there. Thank you for watching this one. It really meant a lot to make, and I'll see you in the next video.